welcome to another fantastic episode of the Connecting Greeks podcast. I'm Ari, and I'm coming to you with two of my favorite people. Lesser of the two favorites, Foti Stamos. What's up, Foti?
Thank you, Ari. You know exactly how to make me feel on a daily basis, but that was great. I'm doing great. I'm doing even better because whenever we have an episode, it's the highlight of my day. Let's put it that way.
I'm sure it is. You know why? Because the one and only Angelo Tsaroukas is with us. That's why. What's up, Angelo?
You know, I love we make fun of Forty. You and Forty are like the Greek Bert and Ernie. You know, I always like it. Forty's always, but buddy, we love you. That's why. Look, remember this: when people make fun of you, it's because they love you. It's when they just stare at you and don't say shit, then you know.
I have a hard time believing that still.
Right?
Mm.
And again,
Foti, you must be really loved. That's all I'm saying.
But you know, we've been having these fantastic run of guests lately, and today is no exception of a fantastic guest. She's an internet personality, actor, creator, writer, bodega coffee lover, New York City. Feta is Greek. I love that. Christina Mavronas, welcome to the Connecting Greek podcast.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. And yes, 100% Feta is Greek.
I 100% agree with you.
I don't care that I'm gonna say that I vandalized, a city property, but I did put it in when like the union guys were fixing the cement on my block, and it was like 2:00 in the morning, and I saw it was wet, and I just grabbed a stick and I was like, "Feta is Greek."
That's awesome. That is awesome. It is, because there's always that big debate. You know, my mother-in-law was Bulgarian Armenian. So she would always talk about how feta was created in Bulgaria. And my daughter at the time, who was 8 years old, was like, no, men's mama is yaya. And she'd go, men's mama, actually feta is Greek. And here's my pefera getting into it with my kid. And then my daughter nailed her with it by saying, you know, feta was trademarked in the European market by Greeks. So it's those small victories, Christina, that we need to keep our culture alive, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Even a bigger victory for you, because with your mother-in-law, you're like, I'm not saying a word.
Yeah.
My daughter is being the Trojan horse. She's infiltrating.
Yeah, he's getting in there. But you know, I first of all, I love your videos. I love your act. I love the fact that, and this is what I want to ask you, because New York City is a big character in what you do. It's who you are, really. And I love, you know, because, you know, Fortinati, you have the Boston accent. I'm a misplaced Canadian living in, you know, LA, you know, avocado toast and hiking like he is. I don't even know what I'm doing there. I don't belong there, but my wife's from there. But New York City is so a prominent thing. And I always tell people when being Greek American, but when you look at America, you look, there's New York, there's LA, then there's America.
Yeah.
Pretty much, right? And you really capture the New York moments. And people don't realize sometimes when you look at a John Hughes film, Chicago is a big character.
Mm-hmm.
Barry Levinson grew up in Baltimore, so he used that as a good example of, you know, life in Baltimore. And I think what people get to see with you is a great glimpse of that New York life, which everybody else, it's probably the most famous city in the world, I think. But do you draw like on that from daily? Like, what can you, like, you bodega coffee lover, bless you. I love the bodegas because my friends are in Brooklyn, and we go to the bodega, and you get the food's great, the coffee is great. We don't have bodegas in LA, you know. We have just malakias, but
artisanal coffee shop.
Coffee shop. Yeah, we go to a coffee shop, you know, and drinking a full latte, skimmed whole milk. Come on,
yeah. No
coffee, you know.
Bodegas and delis here are a way of life, because it's like you get to shoot the shit, and it's like the faster the better, you know. Like there's like, you have that quick moment of like, you know, neighborhood love, but then it's like, you know, you ought to move out of the way. I know you're from 5, but I don't care. Move out of the way. Next, you know. And it's like, it just, it's the heartbeat and that's what keeps it going. And I think there's an art to Bodega coffee. Like I got my qualms around here in New York because I'm starting to see certain delis put the coffee on the side and you got to go do it. And I'm like, no, you do a quick sugar milk if I want to make it nice. And that's the art of it, you know?
Right.
And like you get what you get, and you either leave bitching. So can I curse on here?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Oh,
I
this is great.
did.
Okay.
Feel free.
Yeah, we can curse. Yeah,
Fuck
it.
You know, so you either leave bitching, but you had a great experience, and like that's part of the New York vibe, and then you're like, you know, miserable, or you're just like already woke up on the bad side of the bed, and then like you get your coffee and it's perfect, and you're like, oh, it's gonna be a good day. So you know, that's just New York for you. You never know.
No, I love it because even when you watch Lady Gaga's Monsters Ball, when she's going to Madison Square Garden, she stops at a bodega and says, coffee, sugar. She goes, give me a coffee. She goes, I want a Splenda milk. And then the guy hands it to her. She gets in the limo and she goes off to Madison Square. And I thought, you know, I thought that was a cool moment that she would leave that in her film. But it also tells you who the person is, right? And it's because all the times I've been, what I like about New York, first of all, you got some of the, I think, in my opinion, the best restaurants in the world, next to Montreal and New York. I think if you had to pick two places in the world where you're going to get a good meal. And then, of course, our friends here from Boston may differ with us, Christina, but they may say, Forti's friend, they're from Kalimnos because he's always talking about that. But I think it's such a wealth of, because New Yorkers are a bit more expressive. So I think for you, as a creator, it must help a lot because there's always somebody going to say something somewhere sometimes, right? And I think when you're a comedian or a creator, filmmaker, whatever, the good thing here is that you can pick up different situations, right? And our job is to highlight it and make fun of it, and that's why people love watching you.
Thank you for that. No, I know New York is it's not for everybody, and it's like it's the melting pot. There's so many immigrants here. Like the delis and bodegas are like who raised me. You know, like my mom would be like, when I was like 8 years old or something like that, she'd be like, Christina, I need Virginia Slims and milk. Go to the deli. I will watch you from down the block, and I would go to the deli and I'll be like, can I get a pack of Virginia Slams? And they would know it's not for me. It's for my mom. And they would just give it to me, or they would be like, where are you going now? Like, is your mom, saw your mom, she said this. So it's like, they all knew us and stuff like that. So it's like that culture raised you. So it's like, that's why I love going there. And in New York, it's like, there's always something going on. Everyone's got something to say, but then like we say it and then forget it. That's why they say like New Yorkers, like we're not mean. We're just abrasive. We got to get somewhere, but we're the first ones to help you out. And that's just from everyone around me. Like I'm Greek. I dated Italians. I have my Arab deli guys, my Korean neighbors, and everyone was just around each other, and we were all the same but different. And born and raised in New York, and then summers until I was 18, even now, in Greece, those two worlds just shaped me. So I pull a lot from that. And then I go, what if this, or what if that,
Right.
And then sometimes I just get random ideas that pop into my head. So sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit, but you try it out.
Yeah. That's the whole idea, right? It's like joke writing or even making a film. You hope the stuff you're going to put out, you don't know. So you don't know what goes viral. You don't know sometimes it's something you don't even realize subconsciously that people like that. You're like, oh, I didn't think they were going to like that. And then they did.
Yeah. There's some things that I wasn't going to post. And I have my creator, my crew that we always send things to each other and vet it or share some thoughts. And I was like, I'm not really liking this one. And she's like, no, that's so funny. You should post it. And boom, went viral. However, with that note, I try never to think only if it goes viral is it good material. Cause I think there's little nuggets, whether it's a win or something learning in each part. And I think although there's so much good with social media that's done, it's also kind of created this thing of the fear of failing, because it's like you're failing in front of everyone. And
Right.
then it creates, and I've caught myself where I'm like, oh my God, make sure you don't forget to play. Go do it. If it's shit, whatever. Like, you got to get through that to get to the other good parts. But social media is just like all eyes on you, that you're afraid. And then God forbid you put something out there that's like controversial. Everybody's on, so a lot
Right.
to
Well,
navigate.
you're making a good point, because at the same time, you got to enjoy. It's like a new talent night, when you're going up to try material. Not everything's going to work. So
No.
I think the thing is, you got to be comfortable whether it works or doesn't work. You got to be having fun with it. I think people, for the most part, understand.
Yeah.
I think they understand.
I get smack even about my accent. Like, there's someone
I
in
love
a
your
recent
accent.
someone in a recent video of mine that I did with like Italian women, because like I was raised by, everyone's like, you sound Italian. Like, everybody sounds Italian in South Brooklyn. Like, this is like the black FedEx guy with dreads came out. He's like, hey, what are you doing? And I was like, what? Like that's New York, And it's like, this lady was like, cute video, but not, the accent's not right. Sounds more Boston because of the A's. And I was like,
No way. She's not even
I was
close.
like, this is my accent, just exaggerated. Are you kidding me?
Not even. Well, see, I love even the way you say coffee. It tells me, like, I know right away you're a New York girl. But but the people are malakas. They're gonna say shit. I've had people telling me that I was talking about eating. You're fat shaming. The drepese. I go, fucking fat shaming. I go because if you're a bigger guy, if you lose weight, isedaksi katiekis.
Right?
And if you're too fat, and if you're too fat, they're like, ligo. Hey, get that tros. I go, fuck, make up your fucking mind, right? But it's interesting to me how people's perceptions, like you said, and you can see it. I think, because even younger people that come to me sometimes and ask, I go, look, do it, but have fun. Like you saw us even on this podcast, we have fun. We take a little, we rib each other a bit. But I said, and you made a good point earlier. It's like, now everybody's watching, so you're like, oh, I got to make sure this is perfect. So, sometimes it isn't. But I think the good point you made is, if you're enjoying it and you think it's great, fuck, do it, man. I mean, and that's how I feel sometimes. It's like a joke that doesn't work, but I'm gonna keep doing this to see if it's gonna work.
Yeah, because there's layers to it, and I think as artists, no matter what, and I think like everyone's an artist, on some level and stuff like that, and just I think like by human nature, you just have to be able to like play and fail and not worry about it. And I think like if you don't fail, you're not going to grow, because it could be like technical things, or like, oh, I see why that hit and it didn't. Sometimes there's also just like, it is what it is. It's the algorithm. Like, so you never know why something, you know what I mean? So it's like, personally, like, I can't forget that part. And like, even things with like my accent when I'm talking and like, everyone's got something to say. They're like, oh, that's not a real accent. And I'm just like, in my acting classes, I was told to like get rid of my accent, which there's guidance in knowing how to like pull back and your diphthongs and things like that. But, for so long, I was like, oh, I got to get rid of it. And now I think that's why I dropped down to it even more. And like, when I get saucy, everyone's like, I keep getting like female Sebastian. And I'm like, yeah, that's like, he sounds like from here because of this fucking sound, dying is from here. And I'm just like, I'll never lose it ever again.
Right.
So whoever comments.
And Sebastian's a Chicago guy.
Yeah. So it's like,
so I mean, it's funny, in the movies he's played. It's interesting. So I'm from Montreal. Sometimes you can't hear, but I've had people tell you from Queens. You sound like you're from Queens. I go, no, I'm not. I'm not from Queens. But I think it's the character, and Sebastian, who I've worked with, who's a Chicago guy.
Yeah.
But in the movies, The Green Mile, and he did the other one there, the Irishman. Remember with De Niro?
The Irishman,
yeah.
And he plays Joe Gallo, who's a New York gangster. So the people are going to look
dialogue. There's so many things that play into it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so, and that's the thing. It's like, that's why they're like, oh, I hear little Queens and this and that. It's like, Yeah, because everybody and the mother's there. So you're gonna hear some kind of like, like difference there. So, and like similarities at the same time. And I think that's what's like, I don't know, that's just so cool. And I love
Let
it.
me ask you this, Christina, because I get it sometimes too. The guy goes, "Oh, I heard your Canadian accent." You said, "Fuck you." Okay, so what? So, do people think they got one on you? Like, hey guys, let me ask you. You guys are from Boston. Christina's a New Yorker. I'm from parts unknown. It doesn't matter. But it's funny when I talk to people. Go, "Oh, I heard you say out. You're a Canadian, huh? I got they got you. Okay, do you win a prize? What is it?" And I mean, I like people are people regard. I mean, what they are, and I like listening to your New York when you talk and then your New York accent comes out a bit. You're a New Yorker. I expect that. From oh, I think it's Queens. I think it's Rhode Island. Seriously, like, I mean, I get it too.
But Angelo, on that note and what Christina was saying earlier, my question to Christina, but also Angelo, it applies to you. So you guys were saying like, social media, for example, you're doing something for the audience, but you also have to be yourself. So you can't. So basically, in my opinion, and this is why I ask you guys, because you guys are the personalities. Um, I think that because so many people are on social media and there's so much coming into everybody's face all day. I think if you are acting a specific way, I think after a certain while, the audience picks up that you're kind of pandering. Maybe that's the word. You're pandering to the audience, but being yourself, I think people pick up on that and appreciate it a little more in this day and age because of so much information. Do you guys agree with that? Because I kind of felt that's what you guys were saying about, kind of being yourself, letting your accent go. You're from New York, so obviously you're gonna be a New Yorker. Do you feel like faking it is too much pandering and people don't respond to it? Being more yourself, even if you're in character, but you leave your own personality out there. I think people respond better to that. What do you, Christina? What would your thought be on that?
So I think I have multiple thoughts on that because it's like when it comes to the like content creator side, right? How I don't know, to each their own. I don't know if I'm wrong about this, but like I kind of go in a cycle. And when I first started out and now, and it's like I first start like for me, I don't create for them. I create for me because it's something that's resonating inside of me and making me light up and going, oh, that's funny, that's cool. And then I create that, put it out there, tweak it, start to see what people love. And then as a creator, your job is to perform. So then the next cycle is starting to create more for what people want and what people need. But then at some point that could go off a little bit where you start creating for, them and the algorithm and like a machine, and then you kind of lose yourself a little bit. So then you kind of have to find yourself again. And then that's the beautiful, like, like the hero's journey, right? Like the first act is this, the second act is that, then the third is like you combine it together and then you find that balance. And then just because of life, it keeps going in that world. So it's like,
do you see yourself going forward? It's always going to be cyclical, or do you think you'll ever find like a sweet spot where it's yourself, but it's also for the audience, but you kind of got right in there to kind of.
I think my sweet spot is the cyclical thing because it's like, there's always like it's everything is gray. It's not black and white. And it's like, especially with a new character and I'm playing that new character and then I see the feedback, like I respect my community and the people and like, so I don't want to be like, miti sonaera and be like, no, this is my art. Like, no, it's a collaborative experience. Like that's what it is. So it's like, it's this dance with everyone. So I think that cyclical part and being aware of that is my sweet spot. Like create from you, then it's like you have, a job to do. This is your responsibility. And then sometimes when it gets too much, like you find your truth again within that balance. And then especially when you're doing a new character, a new concept, a new way of editing or doing stuff, because then as an actor side, it is bringing your authentic self to character work. And then there's part of it where it's like, at least for me, it's like, I like to completely like that's like my big goals and stuff like that is complete character work and like transform into someone else that's not me, but could be me because of the human condition, and we're all possible, like everything is possible type of thing, you know? So there's two worlds that live in me where it's like I bring that kind of like drama actor world into that content stuff, and then sometimes it's just content creation and like, I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes
no,
sense.
it totally makes sense. Yeah.
So, Christina, let me ask you, like, I think, like all of us, you know, my parents, working class. My dad was in the catering restaurant business, and my mom.
No,
you know,
really?
Yeah, really, really. You know, like a lot of us. And it's funny, like I remember people coming in the restaurant, and at a younger age, I remember interacting with them in a way that you're not supposed to sometimes, you know.
Yeah,
And I know you've talked about it, your upbringing, and I think for a lot of people, so you don't really get to know anybody until you know where they're from and what's happened, you know, and like for a lot of us now, you know, we experience the immigrant experience, whatever, and I think from that point of view, that's why your stuff's popular around the world, because a lot of people, you know, this little tiny country in the Mediterranean, and then they had to take off because of war and famine and whatever. And then my dad would constantly remind us how, you know, we were using too much toilet paper, and that in Sparti, they'd use petres to wipe their golo with it. And my brother would go in the backyard, pick up rocks, and bring them in the house. We were assholes, right?
Like, is this what you want?
So it's like we were using too much. Like, it was the same with you. Like, or I'll ask all you guys this. I always feel it with Greeks, don't over consume. Like me halas, you know, like skinny, right? It's always like you know, like,
if I can add to what you're saying, Angelo, growing up, I'm sure we had all these experiences, you know, our parents, you know, trying to conserve anything they could get, like walking around the house and shutting the lights off behind every kid in the house. Now I find myself doing the same thing behind my
yes.
I don't know, like, what's wrong with
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I know Christina, her work resonates with all of us as Greek Americans, Greek Canadians, Greek Australians, because of that time, that era. And you do it so well that I'm just listening to you speaking about, you know, the thoughts of if this is going to work or if it's not going to work. What from the audience perspective, I'm going to speak as from the audience. It hits it home all the time, whatever you put out, especially, you know, the experience here in America. And you did mention that you do go to Greece in the summer times, but do you do skits as well while you're in Greece?
Yeah, I started, yes and no. Like, I also try to like relax and enjoy,
Yes.
but I'm always so like,
Eager.
I'm always on. But even if I'm not creating it, like just to be able to talk about it and like have fun with it, like it's exciting. So I do create while I'm overseas. You know, even in the fall, like my parents have moved back to Greece too, so I visit them now, and like I've gone in like the winter time, which is incredible there. So I do create there as well. And
I mean, how could you not? It's so inspirational when you're there, especially with what you're doing. It's like, I bet you come up with ideas left and right just walking through a place in Greece. You're like, oh, that would be so funny if we did this and this and this. When you say you're always on, I could imagine, especially being in Greece, that it would be hard to shut off.
Yeah, but I don't want to be that on like annoying. Like I've been with people where they're like always trying to create and want and like this, where I'm like, can we just shoot the shit for a minute? Like I want to hear the waves, not, you know. So it's like it's a balance, and I've 100% been that person with my group of friends when I started getting into it, and they're like, Christina, can you eat the burger? We don't need a skit about the burger, you know? And I'm like, but it's also nice because that's like my, you know, creative fun like time, but also not ideas meant for me. That's the thing. Like sometimes a lot of things will come in and I have to like file them out and be like, this is okay. I hate this. We're on brand. This is the stretch. This is where I want to explore. This is not for me. Oh, who would that be good for? My homegirl Jasmine, my boy this, like, and I'll like share things with them. Like not everything is for me. So you also have to learn like what to pick and choose. And then there might be little things
Right.
that you try out when it's not, it is what it is. Like so.
Well,
I
but just going to Greece sometimes, man, just going to the store, talking to your relatives is hilarious. Some of the things that they'll ask you, right? Like it's just,
yeah,
I get the
I love it.
stupidest questions. And I'm sure you get the same thing, or you're like the thing in Greece now, if they recognize you, which I'm sure has happened at the metro or something, they'll just stare at you. Right? They want to make sure it's you. So
Yeah.
they'll be staring at you, like
And I'm like-
staring at you.
And I just stare back at them.
It's funny. We were at a restaurant, and my sister's up in Montreal, and she's very much in your face. And we were at a restaurant, and she goes, "Why is the guy keep looking over here?" I go, "I don't know, Tash. Just calm down." She goes, "Oh no, I go talk to the guy. I think I know the guy. I think I dated him once and shit." And she wants to get it. And the guy goes, she goes over, and she goes, "Oh, I just like Angelo's comedy. I'm a big fan." She goes, "Oh, I thought I dated you." He goes, "No, I don't know." I go, "How did you make it about you? You got up, the guy sitting with his family." She gets right, Colas la mutra, right? But I'm sure you get it, and because the Greeks are interesting. When they see you, they don't say something right away. They stare, right? They want like afti. Yeah.
Yes, but I've also had the opposite experience. I've really had the like, hey, New York, se flepo sto Instagram na malanga. I'm like,
What's good?
I thought my favorite is when I was in Athens in January, and like these girls that I met, and like we made friends with like for years, like long story short, this girl that I made friends with like 8 to 10 years ago, I reconnected with her through someone else, and then someone else that I made friends there connected me to someone else within like film and TV, and they're like, "You should talk." And then those two girls knew each other, and we all became like a pareja, and we went up to go like hiking, and it was all snow, which that I was like, I don't gotta drive 5 hours to the Catskills for snow. I went 35 minutes up of Unot. I was like, but so we're walking, we're hiking, it's all snow, and then it's like these two people come out of nowhere, and they're like doing like what's it called when you wear like the tennis things, like the snow shooting? What's
the snowshoes?
Yeah, something like that.
Like snowshoes, yeah.
Yeah, they look like they got like tennis rackets on their feet, so they were doing that.
Yeah.
And he comes out of nowhere. He goes, Sixero, Mavronas, the Instagram. I've seen you and the Italian guys. Very funny. And he goes back off into the woods out of nowhere, just as one guy. So I've had the experience of them being in your face and being like, I know, I love it, which is amazing,
That's good. Especially, I love the one with you're walking down the street, and then there's the two Italian guys checking you out, and they think that was really funny.
Oh my God, they're so fun. I love that.
Fun. That's fun, right? Because they're trying to. I think she's Greek. I think no, she's Italian. She's Greek.
We came up with that on the spot too, because we were doing. I was on their podcast. We were doing something else, and like I brought them olive oil. I'm like Toshoimus from Kalamata and Kerkira, so I have olive oil galore down there. And I would bring some to people, like I like to make it nice, And then we were just like shooting the shit, and then the idea came up, and we're like, okay, like maybe like you put the olive oil on you, and it was like so dumb but so fun, you know what I mean? And like that's where we were like all like little kids and being like, okay, what about this? What about that?
That's funny.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun.
Kalamata, interesting is your family's from Kalamata. That's an interesting place now, because now with all the new resorts there, Costa Navarino and all the new places they're building, now they're talking about expanding the airport in Kalamata, because now, it's when people Mykonos and Santorini, okay, whatever, but now Kalamata seems to, watching the next 5 years, it's going to become the new hotspot of Greece, because Yannis Antetokounmpo got married there at Weston.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Right, and then it was I love it. Supposed to be a secret. Like Greek media found out about it.
Like, yeah, okay, relax. Give us 5 minutes. We're gonna share 5 minutes.
But Motoipe or Yannis Toipe Stonalon, so that kind of thing's funny. But my dad being from Sparta, I've been to Kalamata many times, and my Kubati are from there. Beautiful place. And
love it.
I got to tell you an instance, and this isn't even being funny. I'm at a restaurant in LA, and the guy goes Greek salad, right? So he brings me the Greek salad. Clearly, it's not Kalamata olives. It's not. So my daughter's sitting, and my daughter looks at it. She goes, "Dad," I go, "I know." Are you gonna say something? I go, "Yeah, I'm gonna say something." So the guy comes back and go, "Yeah, it's Armenian guy." So Psefto, because they Armenians try to run Greek restaurants, doesn't work. I said, just stay in your lane, stay in your fucking lane. I love Armenian food and I love Greek, but stay in your lane. Don't get in it. So I said to the guy, "Look, salads, okay, but just so we're clear, if there's no Kalamata olives in this, it's not a Greek salad." And he goes to me, "According to who?" I go, "According to fucking Greeks." I said, "That's who." And I said to the guy, and I even said to the guy, "Dude, you can't charge the price of a Greek salad and not put Kalamata olives. You put those, I don't know if they're Moroccan, those black olives that have no taste in them."
Oh, that are like those, like, yeah.
Yeah, they're like little scatoiles. They like
Spanish black olive.
And then my wife looks at me. She goes, "Why are we getting in an argument here?" I go, whoa! There's no argument. I said, let's just get shit straight. If you're gonna write Greek salad on the menu, make sure the ingredients are fucking Greek, right? But if you're not gonna put it, then do me a favor. I said, just put salad that may look like it's Greek.
Yeah. Put instead of Greek salad, like, this salad kind of looks like it's Greek, but it's really not, because we were too lazy to Google and learn the history of what a Greek salad is. So here you go, enjoy.
Here you go, eat this.
This is Greek inspired.
Yeah, but I think, look, and I see this with a lot of people online that if you notice, there's an authenticity movement now out of Greece, because a lot of people, and I'm not saying it because we're all Greek American Canadian here,
right?
But you talk to a lot of people about quality. When you tell them about olives, oil, cheese, wine, even beer, and you tell them Greek stuff, and they're like, "Man, it's some of the best stuff." Honey, the meli that I get sometimes from Greece. I don't know why. And then one guy goes to me, goes, "You see," he goes, "you Greeks have this arrogance." I go, "You know what? It's arrogant if you don't know if it's good. We know it's good.
We know it's good. Yeah.
It's and do you find that sometimes it's like, and I think, and I always thought, I always think sometimes we wouldn't be like that. And I'm like, something like, I've sent it back. I go, "I don't want this, man. I'm older than you guys." So I'm like, "What the fellow?" And then I walked out, and the guy goes, "I don't know why you're so upset." I go, "Dude, I'm upset because you're insulting." I was working on a ship, and the sign said Suzukakia, and it was spanakopita on the dish. So I got the Indian chef. The guy go, "Look, you made a mistake." "What?" "No," I said, "It says Suzukakia, and here it's spanakopita." No, that's Suzukakia. I go, "Okay, you know what?" I go over where the Indian food is. I go, "This is butter chicken." "Yeah, okay. How about I call it cheeseburger?" But it's not a cheeseburger. Same with this. So I think also there's an education process that comes through with internet content making, especially if you've never been to New York, or you've never been to Greece, or wherever in the world you are from. People, believe it or not, it's an influence, and people go, "Oh, I should go to that restaurant. I should go to Kalamata. I should go do this." Do you find that when you're making it sometimes, and people say, "Oh, because of you, I ended up going there or doing that"?
I actually do, and I realize, like, just the influence and stuff like that, because, like, even from, like, I'm in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, and I did a video a long time ago about these, like, 7-layer cookies from, like, a bakery here, and people from, like, Bumblefuck were like, "I came to Bay Ridge for these cookies," and I was like, "What?" And, like, people will trust you and stuff like that. And even when I put Greek stuff out, people are like, "Oh, I can't wait to go to Greece," and I get DMs. Like, I try to keep up as much as I can, and I'll converse with people that I've never met and from wherever they are, and they're like, "I'm looking to go to Greece," and I'm like, I'm like, "You should do this." Like, sure, you only have 10 days. Like On the other end, I'm this like travel agent too. You guys don't know this.
Yeah.
I should be their ambassador for Greece, okay?
Yeah.
Whoever Trump elected, no thank you, it should be me.
Yeah. Go to Greece, man.
Yeah, because I'm over here like, did you know Kalamata, like Mani, which that's another thing. Like my mother and my grandmother, the Magnati says. So like they moved to Kalamata, so I'm from Kalamata too. My mom was raised there, but like my blood is from Mani.
Oh, Mani. So you're a Magnatisa living in New York.
I'm a Magnatisa living in New York, but I'm also Kerkirea. So those are the two worlds that like Mani, didn't succumb to like the Ottomans and stuff like that. Like they were like pushing back, and they were the ones that came down to Kalamata and were like, bro, you got to say something now. Like we can't do this anymore, And Kerkira is like the area that told like Mussolini, go fuck yourself. So like I got this attitude.
A lot of resistance.
In New York, I'm just like,
yeah, you're feisty. Well, no, like the Magnatis, the Ottomans couldn't get there, the Germans couldn't get there.
Yeah.
And then you're right, even in Calcutta during Mussolini, which is very good, man. It's good. I like the fact you know your history, man, because it's like you see this another thing, and I see this a lot in New York, even in Philadelphia. I meet Italian Americans, and I'll ask them, "Oh, you're Italian? I'm Italian. Okay, where's your family from in Italy?" I don't know. It drives me nuts. I'm like, you don't know where your family's from.
It does. However, what I will say is because like I do a lot of like Italian content and stuff like that because it is my authentic reality and like who raised me, and like everyone can relate to that because of like the environment. And like it's a different world. So like, yeah, they might not know where, but I feel like New York, especially like the first generation, second generation, there's so many more generations that have come by. So like they don't have Italian school. Like even growing up with my Puerto Ricans, they didn't have Puerto Rican school. So when you come to like another country and it's generations later, and part of you is also like, I need to assimilate because these people are looking at me and they're racist and this and that. Greeks were called cockroaches and like to go back. And now like it changes every time. It's all about power. I don't care. Like it disgusts me. However, I digress. It's just like it's all these like years later that they'll start to lose some things. However, I admire the Italians over here because it's like they've created a whole new vibe. So sometimes I'll get these messages or like comments of like that's not real Italian from like I'm like the great nonna that came over here with a little duffel bag, okay? And here's a group of people that like maybe they can't go back, maybe they don't know all of this stuff, but they're still holding on to tradition and then creating some and like combining it with something new that we all are connected to because it's New York, right?
Right.
And I think that's so beautiful. So like at the same time, I'm like, how do you not know? But I get more annoyed with my Greeks who don't know because I'm like, you had Greek school. You got no excuse.
Yeah, exactly.
My Italians, my Puerto Ricans, that are like fifth, sixth generation, and they're holding on to certain traditions but don't know all the details. You get a pass. But you Greek.
Yeah, but Christina, keep in mind too, Greeks will remind you every day where they're from. Every day it's like I remember my dad. Like I know my daughter was 7 years old when I took her to the Choreo, and I said, "Look, this is where your papu's from." And she was, "Daddy, a lot of the people have the same name." I wanted her to see it, but it's
That's beautiful.
You make a good point because it's almost like a New York subculture. I mean, they're Italian. They are Italian, but like for us, it's like, we had to go to Greek school every Saturday, and now you go to Greece and everybody's trying to talk to you in English now. I go, whoa, time out. What are you talking about?
Yeah, my favorite is like I'll try to say something. Listen, like I'm fluent in Greek. I'm grateful that I went to Greek school. And, like I can read, speak, and write. But every so often, like I'll forget a word or like whatever the case is. Like so when I'm speaking, I'm like, oh, and then I'll go in. I'm like, how do you say this in Greek? And they'll be like, I understand English, and I'm like, no, I want to learn more. Like we're a small country. There's so many things happening. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm trying to hold on to that. Because if I have kids and they're here, like I want to pass that down and keep that strong. Because I think language is very powerful and it connects you. And like that's like the way I write and for my content from like my short films and things like that. Like I write in both like my American New York tone. I write from my Greek. I write from like all the different ethnicities that I hear. And like how they would say something or speak. So I don't know. I think language and food is just, I don't know, it's very powerful.
Totally agree. Totally agree with you.
It's so fun to hear your perspective being a New Yorker, because this whole episode we're talking about how where you're from, especially a place like New York, really molds you. And just for example, like a couple of days ago, I was listening to a podcast about the Beastie Boys, and the whole entire podcast focused on them being New Yorkers. There would be no Beastie Boys if it wasn't for New York. Like, they are a product of the multiple ethnicities, the vibe, everything going on. And, you listen to that, yeah, this is a world famous band, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But then, we talk to people like you, we talk to all sorts of New Yorkers. That New York is such a vibe. I mean, I can't even imagine any other place that could have this much of a vibe. And it's awesome to hear you. And like that same kind of tone comes out from you as well. It's like, it's a reality.
It really, and I think it is because it's like all the different people and food and like languages and all this stuff. And it's like, and it's a different, it's like where your dreams come true, like New York or nowhere. It's like, I don't know, it's the first city that people think about, and it's like, I'm not trying to shit on it, like West Coast, this and that, which like, the other day I met like a true LA, like Los Angeles, like an Angelino for the first time. And I was like, are you a true Angelino? And he's like, yeah, I was born and raised there, like true And I was like, oh my God. He's like, yeah, and fuck that place, New York. And I was like, what?
It's true.
He's trying to give you direction somewhere.
And it's like, now it's like the arrogance, like, like whatever it is, like with the Greek, like, Greek is everything, everything is Greek. And now I'm like, yeah, but New York or nowhere. So like these both worlds, but so it's really funny. So I don't know. It's like there are people who come to New York and really try to be New York, and then like that. Those are the mean people, by the way. If you come to New York and someone's mean, they're not a New Yorker.
Right? Yeah, most New Yorkers are direct, but they're nice people.
Yeah, like I'm gonna like, how many times I've been in the car and like someone else, I'm like fuck you, and they're like, blah, and then we get to the light, and then something else happens. I'm like, you good? No, go ahead, because like we it's like in acting, it's like beat by beat. So we're not gonna like, it's, I don't know, it's really funny. It's like we don't got time to hold on.
Over. Yeah.
Hey, Ari,
exactly.
what would you call the Beastie Boys in Greek? The agriapithia? Like what beastie? What beastie?
Yeah.
What would beastie be? Beastie, like he's
I would say like monster, like beat, like Therios,
Therio, yeah,
so
like Therio, almost like Beastie Boys, I said that's funny.
Agora Therio.
Yeah.
Agora Therio.
Yeah.
You got to do a skit about the Beastie Boys, somehow work it into the Greek too.
In New York,
I know. I did a sketch recently with my good friend Nima Naz.
I know
yeah, so funny, such a good person. We always like, anytime we create, like we're always like this, and like, and then just like talk is like, he's a really, really great guy. And we did this thing where it's like he has the character Stelios, and then I do like the Greek mom, Helen of Troy. So we were going everywhere where it's like, this is Greek, and we were doing like ridiculous things, like, this beautiful lady, Greek, this black person, Greek. And I went Beastie Boys, because it was Beastie Boys Avenue. Like I went Greek.
That's awesome.
So it's a nice little synchronicity, full circle. Like, you're talking about the Beastie Boys. I'm like, we just dropped something where I was like, Beastie Boys, Greek.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. He's
Yeah,
he's another Canadian.
Awesome.
Another Canadian.
Yeah.
From Toronto. Toronto.
Angela, I just wanted to point out a mistake you made earlier. You said we always find out where Greeks are from, and then if you don't know, they remind you. But you know what? Are we aware of where Foti's from? Because I don't remember.
Oh, I think was it playing Kalimnos?
Oh, okay, all right.
Holy shit! He only tells us every 8 seconds.
I don't tell. Our guests are the ones that tell us.
They tell us where they're from. Well, look, Christina, it's been fun having you on the podcast. I got to know you better. I never met you before. It's the first time I get to say hi to you.
I know, and I have to say, Angela, like I remember growing up watching your stuff, and it's like, and now this is like a nice full circle to like seeing your content, your comedy, and it's really great. Like,
look,
I'm gonna get off of this, and I'm gonna be like, Ma, guess who I talked to? She's gonna be like, shut up.
Well, you're funny, because even my mom seen you online. She goes, "Ati copela ti New York o morfine." Jason, you know, she's always thought because you know your parents will describe it differently, right? But look, it's been very nice having you on the podcast.
Thank you. It's been so great talking to all of you, except for Portios. I didn't learn anything about you. I'm sorry. Yeah.
He's from Kalinos. Just know that.
Okay. I didn't know. I'll write that down.
Keep getting inspired. Continued success with everything you're doing, and we're gonna make sure, like Ari, make sure everybody's gonna have your handles so they know where to find you. And you know, it's just this is another thing, and it was great having you on the podcast, and I mean, continued success, and we'll see what's coming down the road with where everything's going to take everybody. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, hopefully another little reunion somehow somewhere will happen.
Yeah, for sure.
You guys are great, so I appreciate you. And like I love, and honestly, like what you guys are doing too, like connecting everyone and just like it's nice because Greeks need that. So good job.
Yeah, we try to we try to balance it out, you know. Actors, creators, athletes. We've had chefs on the show. We've had
every
all
walk
kinds
of
different
life.
People, and now you know we're adding to the fact, and you know, and we're getting really good listenership now because people are now clicking on the podcasts and listening to them. So we're getting good feedback, and it's going to be just
they're all from Kalinos, by the way.
And we're going to do one.
I love it.
Call it the Kalinos podcast.
The Kalinos party. Well, if you guys ever find yourselves in New York, let me know. I also have a podcast with my friend and comedian Gus Constantelis.
Yes.
And
Gus has been on this. We've had
yeah. So you know, we started it out. We're going, and like we want to bring everyone on. So if you guys ever hear, let us know.
What's the name of your podcast, Christina?
It's called Welcome to the Neighborhood.
Okay, I like that. That's nice.
Yeah.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
I was going to say we're going to have all your information in the notes, but can you just do a plug live right now of your handles, your podcast, whatever you want?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find me everywhere with my full government name. So it's just Christina Mavronas.
Okay,
that's on all handles. And then I also have a podcast with my co-host Gus Constantelis, and it's called Welcome to the Neighborhood. Spelt out. Yeah. And
nice.
Cool.
Find all the fun stuff there.
And click on it. Wait to see something new coming out. That's great, Christina. Thanks for being a guest today. It was lovely having you on the show.
Thank you for reaching out and having me. It was really, it was an honor. So I appreciate you all.
Thank you so much. I want to say for taking the time, being with us, connecting all the Greekness between us all. Thank you. Thank you, Foti. Thank you, Angelo, as always. And thanks everybody out there for watching and listening. Check out the notes. I'm sure most of you have seen and heard of Christina, but if not, check her out. Great stuff. Great person. Thank you for being with us again, Christina. Thanks, everybody out there. We'll see you next time.
That's us.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Tilakya.
Bye-bye.